Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas. I'm Molly Kampir. Let's get started. Our top focus tonight, while the Hormuz choke point crisis continues to choke the global energy supplies, here's what's happening at the Strait. In the Iran-US moves over Hormuz, Iran saying it has received the first revenue from the Hormuz toll, it claims. Meanwhile, President Trump saying he has ordered the US Navy to shoot and kill any boat that is laying mines in the Strait. Also saying he's ordered the US minesweepers to continue clearing the strait at a tripled up level. We are decoding all of this in just a bit. Also on the show for you tonight, while talks remain elusive, we tell you how the security measures undertaken by Pakistan have caused major heartburn and outrage in Pakistan. We also get you a Gravitas special report on how Iranian women are defying the war using brush strokes, expressing themselves using street murals. All this and more coming up. It's been over a day since US President Donald Trump extended the ceasefire with Iran. However, as of now, talks remain elusive. In fact, Iran has now made a big claim. Iran's deputy parliament speaker announcing that the country got its first revenue from the toll it is imposing on the ships to cross Hormuz. Without revealing more, he claimed that the amount had been deposited into the central bank of Iran's account. Earlier, reports suggested that Iran's parliament was reviewing a bill to charge transit fees on ships passing through Hormuz. It reportedly entailed charges being paid in Iran's national currency. However, it is still unclear whether this bill has been cleared. Without reacting to this claim, Donald Trump has now ordered the US Navy to shoot and kill boats laying mines in Hormuz, claiming that 159 Iranian naval ships have been destroyed. He said, I'm quoting now, "Our minesweepers are clearing the strait right now. I am hereby ordering that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level." And in another post, Trump claimed that the US has total control over the Strait of Hormuz and vowed to continue the blockade until Iran agrees for a deal. That statement on your screen. In fact, Pentagon has denied a recent report which claimed that it will take 6 months to clear the mines in the Strait of Hormuz. As per this report, the Pentagon had given this estimate to members of the US House Armed Services Committee. This report also claiming that Tehran may have deployed at least 20 mines in this waterway, carrying about 20% of the world's oil and LNG supplies. So that's how critical that choke point is. Earlier reports revealed that the US Navy is using specialized robotic systems to destroy mines planted in Hormuz. It is also using a floating sonar system to basically scan the seabed for mines. Meanwhile, Tehran released footage of armed soldiers boarding 2 container ships which it seized in the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC accused the Panama-flagged vessel and the Liberia-flagged vessel of operating without required permits and tampering with their navigating systems, it alleged. Visuals showed speedboats with Iranian flags approaching the ships at sea. Take a look. In fact, so far, the US Navy has claimed to have directed 31 vessels to turn around or return to Iranian ports as part of the blockade. The US War Department also announcing that American forces intercepted and inspected the sanctioned Majestic vessel in the Indian Ocean, which was allegedly transporting oil from Iran. Visuals show troops boarding the vessel from a helicopter. Signaling its limitations in the present scenario, the US has argued that Iran's moves do not constitute a violation of the ceasefire. Explaining this stance, the White House press secretary told Fox News that the seized ships were neither American nor Israeli. And amid all of this uncertainty, Iran's forces continue to be on alert. Visuals showed the army commander visiting border troops at an undisclosed location. On this occasion, soldiers were seen chanting slogans like, "We are ready," quote unquote. Take a look.
Sound actions you have taken, and with the accurate layers of defensive planning you put in place, along with the morale, determination, steadfastness, and strength you possess, deterrence has been created.
That's not even all. Iran's Tasnim news agency has issued a veiled warning, basically, that the internet can potentially be in Tehran's line of fire. It highlighted how Hormuz serves as a critical corridor for at least 7 undersea cables, including Falcon and TGN Gulf. Why is this crucial, you ask? These cables, to put it simply, which are used to transmit data between continents, account for over 95% of the global internet traffic. As per Tasnim, Gulf nations like the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia can be majorly impacted if the undersea cables around Hormuz are damaged. So that's also crucial. In yet another development, the crisis within American ranks also deepened as the US Navy Secretary was ousted from his position, even as the Hormuz blockade was underway. As per reports, tension was brewing between him and the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, over implementing shipbuilding reforms and his close relationship with Donald Trump. Now, the human toll of the Hormuz blockade, the deadlock, cannot be understated. An Indian captain of one of the ships stranded in the Persian Gulf revealed that his crew has been under constant stress since the war started.
My crew is, under constant stress ever since the war started, since we are stranded inside this conflict zone. And there is nothing much we can do, And as you can see on the screen also, there are hundreds of ships around us, and there are, nearly 20,000 seafarers stranded inside the Persian Gulf.
With the fate of the Strait of Hormuz continuing to be a sticking point between the US and Iran, it remains to be seen which side really blinks first as of now. And will the talks resume is the big question. And despite repeated assertions by America and Israel since the start of the Iran war that their strikes severely degraded Tehran's military capabilities, new details by America's highest-ranking military intelligence officer and the Israeli military reveal the exact opposite. According to their assessments, Iran continues to retain its core ballistic missile power, remaining a significant strategic threat. Just for context here, and to break this down, during the Iran war, the US Central Command said it hit more than 13,000 Iranian targets. While Israel claimed another 4,000 strikes, the US Secretary of War even said that the joint campaign had quote-unquote functionally destroyed Iran's missile program and left its military combat ineffective for years to come. That was the claim. But new assessments telling an entirely different picture. The Israel Defense Forces reportedly admit the damage is only partial. According to the IDF, the strike slowed Iran's missile buildup but did not neutralize it. The primary reason, reportedly, being the fact that Iran's missiles are buried deep underground, entrenched inside fortified underground sites. Many launchers and storage facilities, reportedly, are located inside hardened underground bases, making them extremely difficult to be neutralized and far beyond the reach of conventional strikes, basically. And even after weeks of bombardment, the IDF intelligence reportedly estimating Iran still holds around 1,000 ballistic missiles and is already positioned to rebuild. The IDF also says around 40% of Iran's missile launchers remain intact. Multiple US officials also told CBS News that nearly half of Iran's missile arsenal and launch systems remained intact at the start of the ceasefire, while around 60% of the IRGC naval arm, including fast attack boats, are also still operational. And there's more. A written statement by the head of the US Defense Intelligence Agency to a subcommittee on intelligence and special operations. It warns that Iran retains thousands of missiles and one-way attack drones capable of threatening US and allied forces across the region. And these developments coming in the backdrop of those reports claiming that America is running low on key missile defense systems following the Iran war. We told you about this. At least half of the US THAAD missiles estimated to have been used, nearly half of Patriot systems depleted, around 45% of precision strike weapons expended. And experts are now warning it could take 3 to 5 years. They say it could take 3 to 5 years for the United States to fully rebuild its stockpiles. So despite the firepower unleashed by the US and Israel, the message is quite simple here. Iran's missile threat is not gone. It is buried, it's protected, and still very much in play. The diplomatic tightrope between Washington and New Delhi has just been set on fire. A single explosive phrase from Donald Trump has triggered a huge geopolitical storm, forcing a frantic cleanup operation from the US Embassy in New Delhi. From hellhole insults to great country walkbacks, the foundations of this strategic partnership are facing a brutal stress test. Diplomacy is usually a game of nuances, but Donald Trump, it seems, prefers a sledgehammer. And the American president sent shockwaves through the Indo-Pacific after labeling India, quote-unquote, a hellhole on Truth Social. The remarks were originally made by the conservative author, Michael Savage, during a podcast. Savage claimed immigrants exploit US laws by arriving in their 9th month of pregnancy. Trump shared the transcript on Truth Social. I'm quoting, "A baby here becomes an instant citizen, and then they bring in their entire family from China or India or some other hellhole on the planet," quote unquote. The letter he reshared by Trump. In fact, the outburst was not isolated. It was tangled in a bizarre rant regarding birth certificate verification, a recurring theme in Trump's political theater. For a nation positioned as Washington's premier Democratic ally, the insult is a bitter pill to swallow. Here's the reaction from New Delhi. It's measured, but also firm. Listen in.
Donald Trump has endorsed a post. The post compares India and China as hellholes. What is the Indian government's response on the US president terming India in a derogatory manner?
We have seen some reports. That is where I leave it.
India's Ministry of External Affairs is maintaining a dignified distance from the ugly pot shot taken by Donald Trump. Sensing the deep rupture in Trump's rather unsavory comments may cause the US Embassy in New Delhi to scramble into damage control mode. The embassy, in fact, issued a rapid clarification, reaffirming the bond between the two sides. The US Embassy spokesperson said the president has said India is a great country with a very good friend of mine at the top, quote unquote. While New Delhi is maintaining a studied silence, the outrage is growing within the US former White House Chief of Staff, Rahm Emanuel, tearing into Trump's comments. Emanuel slammed the rhetoric as a spit in the face of a critical partner, not mincing any words clearly. Emanuel, who served as the US ambassador to Japan, basically arguing that such vitriol sabotages years of bilateral progress.
What this president did, pull the THAAD anti-missile system out of South Korea, take the aircraft carrier that's the only permanent aircraft carrier based anywhere in the world outside of the United States is in Okinawa, Japan, pull it out, take the Marine unit out of Okinawa, take India, that's been a 30-year project of every Democratic Republican administration to bring them closer to the US orbit, and literally spit in their face as we did on this administration, or do what we're doing also while we're all side.
And this row also matters because the India-US relationship, it's no longer symbolic. It's central to trade, technology, defense. Stronger ties with New Delhi lying at the core of Washington's idea to balance China's rise. And the big question still is, will the US president come out and apologize himself instead of sending out a message via an embassy official to try and assuage the world's largest democracy? On to Islamabad now. What was being presented there as a high-stakes diplomatic event has translated into chaos for ordinary citizens there. Public anger mounting in Islamabad as the sweeping road closures, the heightened security measures because of the potential Iran-US talks continue to disrupt daily life there. Many residents questioning why they are bearing the cost of the tensions far beyond their borders. Major roads have been blocked without clear notice, turning daily commutes into endless delays, police barricades, checkpoints, movement curbs, disrupting everyday life. What is being called security preparation is being felt as a de facto shutdown there on the ground. And the impact is direct, it's also severe. Markets lying half empty. Small shopkeepers reporting sales have been impacted. They say the sales have collapsed. Daily wage workers saying they are sitting idle with no income, no support, no timeline for relief. Basically, for a population already struggling with inflation, the economic instability, this lockdown-style approach has only added pressure on households that are already on edge.
The war is between America, Israel, and Iran. Pakistan has closed all the roads here. The people are cursing and feel humiliated. We make this appeal to them. It is a request that they come and negotiate here. This matter will end, and the war and the problems will end. Look, all the shops have been closed. The people are sitting idle. There is inflation and poverty. This is our request, that they should come and negotiate. Pakistan should have mercy on the people.
The people are worried because of inflation. Now Trump is saying he is coming to Pakistan. Iran is saying that the Iranian president is coming to Pakistan. Let the negotiations end. Until they come to Pakistan, the poor and needy will continue to starve. They have no businesses and no work. Now, their only advice is to hold negotiations and completely end the problems. They are not coming. We are just hearing that they are coming today or tomorrow.
The thing is, Pakistan is trying to project itself as a regional mediator between Iran and the United States, but the ground reality is telling you a completely different story. The much talked about talks in Islamabad collapsed earlier without any breakthrough, with Trump unilaterally declaring a ceasefire extension and then thanking the Pakistani leadership for the extension. Following the announcement, Shehbaz Sharif was quick to thank Trump for accepting the request to extend the ceasefire and to allow ongoing diplomatic efforts to take their course. Washington has always pushed hard for Iran to abandon its nuclear program, a demand that Tehran has flatly rejected for years. No deal, no consensus, no progress. So then the obvious question is, what exactly is Pakistan mediating? Because the Strait of Hormuz remains closed by Iran, blocked by the Trump administration, with the global energy flow under strain as well. We just told you about what's happening at the Strait. The peace broker tag that Asim Munir is seeking looks less of a strategic diplomacy move and more like a political and image management attempt. And then there's the contradiction that cannot be ignored. On one hand, Islamabad claims to be facilitating regional peace talks. On the other hand, it has buttressed its ties with Riyadh, with the defense pact and deployment of troops and war machines in Saudi Arabia. So then, is this not a neutral position? Is this not a neutral position? Because for Tehran, this is not mediation. This is alignment disguised as diplomacy. No wonder it does not trust the process. So what remains of this so-called mediation by Pakistan? A capital under lockdown, a population paying the price, failed talks with no outcome so far, a diplomatic claim that does not match the reality on the ground. Is the global energy market racing towards a potential disaster? Are the warning signs increasingly becoming impossible to ignore? According to a report by The Economist, in just over 50 days since the Iran war started, the world has already lost around 550 million barrels of Gulf crude. 550 million barrels. Just to put that into context, that is nearly 2% of last year's total global output. And every month that the Strait of Hormuz remains disrupted, the world is losing roughly 2% of its annual liquefied natural gas supply. So that's the impact. And the Economist report warns basically that global fuel prices have not fully reflected the existing crisis. And masking the scale of the supply shock in a way, the last wave of the pre-war oil shipments reportedly reached global markets, and that key buffer is now gone. At the same time, the available oil cargoes are reportedly drying up. That's not all. Refineries are slashing the output of fuel across Asia, which depends heavily on Gulf exports. Crude inventories have reportedly fallen sharply, down by 11% in just 1 month. Due to the shortage in raw materials, Asian refineries have reportedly cut output by over 3 million barrels per day. That's around 10% of its combined capacity. Deeper cuts are expected if the disruption continues. The impact reportedly already visible in the fuel prices in a few Asian countries, in fact. Petrol in some Asian markets is nearing $120 per barrel, while diesel and jet fuel surged to more than double pre-war levels. Governments in many Asian countries are accordingly responding with fuel rationing, remote work mandates, emergency measures to try and curb the demand. According to the report, Europe has been able to shield the consumers in a way through subsidies and tax cuts. But that has allegedly led to a dangerous imbalance because refineries have barely slashed production. Experts are warning that even if the supply routes reopen immediately, for example, recovery could take months. So that's the crisis. Total losses could reach up to 5% of the global annual output, potentially double if disruptions continue. The last time oil demand collapsed this sharply, by the way, was during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, when the global economy shrank by over 3%. So the way things stand, the window to prevent a full-scale global energy crisis appears to be rapidly closing. And since the start of that war between Iran, Israel, and the United States, colorful murals have sprung up across capital Tehran and other major cities in Iran. These murals are loaded with symbolism carrying themes of resistance and defiance against the war. From Miller Tower to Azadi Square, the cityscape of Tehran has basically transformed into a living gallery defiance of sorts. One of the most striking ones showing a US aircraft carrier carrying rows of coffins draped in American flags. Surrounding it are small Iranian arsenal. It's a warning basically in a way that even the world's most powerful military can face defeat in the Persian Gulf. Another image showing the three generations of the Ayatollah regime, from Khomeini to Ali Khamenei, and now the latest new supreme leader. This is a depiction basically of how strong the Islamic regime in Iran holds strong even after facing intense conflicts over decades. So that's the message that it's trying to put out. Another powerful image depicting a hand clad in an Iranian military uniform. It's gripping the Strait of Hormuz seemingly. On one side, ships are stranded, immobilized. On the other, the waters of the Gulf of Oman stretch empty, it seems. This mural is not sending out a subtle message. It's a declaration of sorts that Iran holds control over one of the world's most critical energy routes. So that's the message there. These visuals, reinforced by slogans painted across the city in Farsi. These phrases translating to the control of the Strait of Hormuz will always be with Iran. Down with the USA, quote unquote. Further, we will not compromise, even for 1 second, quote unquote. Each phrase, each brushstroke, an example of the unyielding will of the Iranians. So that's also the message being projected. These murals going beyond mocking Washington. Another striking image depicting Iranian fighter jets soaring above contested skies, representing military dominance, in a way, air superiority. Beneath them, the Israeli flag, with the blue star symbol splintered into pieces. But these images are not just about enemies. They also reflect internal sentiment. That's the attempt. On the streets of Tehran, many Iranians remain skeptical about the possibility of peace. Some believe the temporary halt in the US attacks is not a step towards negotiation, but a pause before further escalation.
It appears there is preparatory positioning for a renewed start from the US side. At least in my view, there is a renewed beginning in the making, and it wants to attack again and in any case gain a number of advantages.
And others point to Iran's continued uranium enrichment and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz as signs that the conflict is far from over.
So far, the United States has achieved no serious gains. On the other hand, the Strait of Hormuz has also been closed, and the issue of uranium enrichment, as well as that 400 kilograms it wanted removed from the country, has in practice not happened. So the United States has gained nothing so far, and is certainly seeking to continue the war and secure some advantage for itself.
And even though the fragile ceasefire is unilaterally extended by Donald Trump with no clarity on further talks as of now, the Iranian women who have long been associated with resistance in a way are leading the war with art and expressions, it seems. And here's a quick look at what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. Getting you a detailed report from the election battlegrounds of West Bengal and Tamil Nadu in India, where voting was held today. What do the high voter turnout numbers tell us? We are telling you more. A robot managed to beat human pros at table tennis. This is the latest episode of Robots versus Humans, and that's not even the only instance. We tell you more. Why is Japan offering to pay single people to use dating apps? It seems desperate times call for desperate measures. We get you the complete story. And the crisis at the Strait of Hormuz is disrupting aviation across the world. With airlines pulling back flights as the fuel costs rise, Germany's flagship carrier Lufthansa has now announced a major rollback. In fact, the airline will be cancelling nearly 20,000 short-haul flights through October, saying soaring jet fuel prices have basically made many routes financially unsustainable. And according to the airline, these cuts alone are expected to save around 40,000 metric tons of fuel. Jet fuel costs have sharply risen since the tensions in West Asia erupted. They've disrupted energy markets. Supply through the Strait of Hormuz has tightened, pushing the jet fuel prices even higher. And Lufthansa is not alone, of course. Air Canada also already suspended several routes to the United States, citing the same cost pressures. American carrier Delta Airlines also scaled back some of its routes. Ireland's national airline has also cancelled over 500 flights from its summer schedule. Malaysian airline AirAsia X has already cut 10% of the flights across its group, while in the Oceania region, Air New Zealand is scaling down operations through May and June. Hong Kong-based Cathay Pacific will be reducing flights between mid-May and the end of June. At the same time, major carriers around the world are raising baggage fees as well. While in India, airlines like Indigo, Air India, Akasa Air have all introduced fuel surcharges across domestic and international flights. Industry bodies are warning that the worst is yet to come. The Airports Council International Europe has warned the European Commission that jet fuel shortages could begin within 2 weeks if supplies do not stabilize. The International Energy Agency, meanwhile, warning that global jet fuel reserves could shrink to just 23 days by the month of June if the supply gaps persist across Europe. And the risk is even higher in Asia, where many countries rely heavily on fuel coming in from the Gulf. Experts now cautioning that this crisis could escalate into a systemic shock within weeks, hitting airline networks, supply chains, passengers all at once. And the immediate impact is already visible. Fewer flights, rising fares, and shrinking travel options. And with the peak summer season fast approaching, millions of passengers world over are now bracing for delays, disruptions, even cancellations, and disrupted travel plans. The claims of Iran executing women protesters sparked a fresh showdown between Trump and Tehran amid the fragile ceasefire in West Asia, a fresh war of words centered around disputed claims about the fate of 8 female protesters, exposing deeper tensions between the two countries. Replying to another tweet on X, Donald Trump announced on social media basically that Iran had agreed not to execute 8 detained women as a sign of respect for him. He tried to frame it as a humanitarian breakthrough tied to the ongoing negotiations. He further claimed that 4 of the women would be released immediately, while the remaining 4 would receive short prison sentences. Tehran has swiftly rejected the claim. The Iranian judiciary officials insisted that no such executions had been planned in the first place. It has accused Donald Trump of fabricating the story to try and bolster his diplomatic image. According to the Iranian authorities, in fact, the entire narrative surrounding the 8 women is misleading and politically motivated. And just a while ago, we spoke to an analyst on the current issue. He is an associate professor in the University of Tehran, saying that the news of execution is fake and Donald Trump is desperately trying to get a leverage using this. Listen in.
Well, this is fake news. Trump retweeted some Israeli guy's tweet, and he's looking to have some sort of a win, and he's desperate enough to do fake news. These women, some of them were free. They were not, I think they looked at the internet, found some pictures. The person who originally created the fake news.
And this comes amid that tense situation at the Strait of Hormuz that we just told you about. Trump has been left frustrated by Iran's refusal to reopen the strait despite the ceasefire that he declared earlier and then extended unilaterally. The truth about these women protesters is more complex than understood, it seems. The female protesters are reportedly facing execution in Iran and are primarily charged with national security offenses. Reported charges of what basically means waging a war against God also slapped against them reportedly, following their involvement in the anti-regime demonstrations allegedly that started in early 2006. In fact, rights organizations like Iran Human Rights and Amnesty International also reporting a major spike in executions used to suppress dissent, these groups claiming that at least 48 women were among the 1,600 plus people who were executed by the regime in 2025 alone. Human rights concerns in Iran are real. They are an ongoing issue, particularly regarding the treatment of protesters. Political narratives from both sides may be shaped by the strategic interests, but the fate of these 8 women remains uncertain until independent verification comes out. On to India, voting in 152 out of the 294 assembly seats has concluded in West Bengal. The battle is between the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, who is seeking a 4th consecutive term, and the BJP. People started queuing up outside the polling booths during the early hours of voting there. The official timing for the voting ended at 6 p.m. IST. And as per the latest available data, the voting percentage in West Bengal stood at 91.52%. The overall turnout in the state stood at 85.2% in the 2021 assembly elections. The elections in West Bengal are being held in a tense political environment, to say the least. Clashes were also reported between political workers belonging to rival parties. In Murshidabad, Trinamool Congress workers clashed with AU-JP party workers. Both sides pelted stones at each other, while the police and central security forces were seen trying to control the situation. Earlier, several people reportedly were injured after unidentified people hurled a crude bomb in Murshidabad. A scuffle also broke out between TMC workers and the AU-JP founder Humayun Kabir when he visited the area where the crude bomb incident took place reportedly. Separately, BJP leader from Bishnupur has alleged booth hijacking in Birbhum. Complaints of alleged EVM malfunctioning have been reported from 2 parts there. Separately in Malda, tensions ran high because of complaints of alleged EVM malfunctioning at a polling booth. An angry mob of voters surrounded the sector officer when he arrived at the polling booth there. Some voters were caught on camera pulling the sector officer's hand and engaging in a scuffle with him. There are 12 assembly seats in Malda district. Out of these, total 8 seats went to the Trinamool Congress in 2021, and the rest of the 4 seats were backed by the BJP. The political fate of several heavyweights is on the line in the first phase. First up is BJP's Suvendu Adhikari, the leader of opposition in the West Bengal Assembly. Adhikari is a veteran politician who defeated Mamata Banerjee from the Nandigram seat in the 2021 Assembly election. He is pitted against the TMC's leader, a political turncoat who left the TMC for the BJP and again joined the TMC. He was once considered to be a close aide of Suvendu Adhikari, in fact. Senior BJP leader and former state president Dilip Ghosh, who has been a prominent face of the party's expansion in West Bengal, is contesting from Kharagpur Sadar. Veteran Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is making a comeback to state politics after 25 years. Seen as a crucial move to revive the Congress in Murshidabad, he is contesting from the Berhampur Assembly constituency in Murshidabad and is up against the BJP MLA from there. The Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee, is contesting from a seat which will be heading to the polls in the second phase. That's on the 29th of April. And the fate of the 294-member assembly will be revealed on the 4th of May. Amid the mystery surrounding the disappearance and deaths of as many as 11 US scientists, they are missing or have died, linked to nuclear and UFO research. The sudden death of a paranormal content creator and UFO investigator has generated a huge controversy. Serving as a director of an aerospace firm, reportedly, he was a major figure in the disclosure movement, which basically believes that the US government should disclose secret information, which it allegedly holds about UFOs and life beyond planet Earth. He regularly appeared on the History Channel's show Ancient Aliens, which explored conspiracy theories. He also authored multiple books, which turned out to be bestsellers. As per the police, he called the police at around 10:44 a.m. local time. This was on the 20th of April, in which he allegedly exhibited signs of a mental health crisis. Upon arriving at his house in Colorado State's Boulder County, just after 11 a.m., he reportedly shot himself dead. The police also said that no other individuals were located inside or around his residence. However, concerns have been raised given his post 2 days before his death. In the social media post, he said, and I'm quoting, "I am not yet sure if I am doing a show tomorrow. I have had some very intense stuff going on this weekend," quote unquote. And it's worth noting here that the US president has called for releasing government files related to UFOs. Last week, he said that many interesting documents have been uncovered so far.
Recently directed the Secretary of War. How good is Pete Hegseth doing? To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know if I am. So I'm pleased to report today, I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, you know, a little bit. That this process is well underway and we found many very interesting documents, I must say.
And his death comes amid US agencies, including the FBI, the Department of War, NASA, reportedly intensifying their probe over the disappearance or death of 11 US scientists, allegedly linked to UFO research. The speculation is that they were targeted by America's enemies owing to their nature of work, allegedly, as per reports. In fact, this also includes a scientist attempting to develop anti-gravity technology. In 2022, she was found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot injury. A year later, a NASA researcher was found dead. Come 2024, a NASA scientist died under mysterious circumstances. That's not all. In 2025, former Los Alamos employee went missing after leaving home. And this was followed by the disappearance of an aerospace executive who went on a hiking trip in California. Another Los Alamos employee also disappeared. Similarly, government contractor Stephen Garcia stepped out carrying a handgun and was never seen again. And in December 2025, a Novartis researcher, Jason Thomas, disappeared, with his body found later at a lake in March this year. In the same month, a nuclear physicist was shot dead at home. Additionally, an astrophysicist who collaborated with NASA was also reportedly killed. The last case of disappearance dating back to 27th of February, when the retired Air Force general vanished from his residence. His wife even admitted that he had a brief association with the UFO community. Nature, it seems, is far more intelligent than we think. Scientists have uncovered a hidden sensory world where life begins not with touch but with a sound. The secret language of the soil, it seems, has been decoded, revealing that seeds are actually listening to us.
Nature is a masterpiece of biological engineering. Beneath the forest floor, a silent intelligence operates in total darkness. For centuries, rain was seen as water, nothing more. It soaked fields, filled rivers, fed roots. But beneath the soil, another drama was unfolding. Tiny seeds were not just waiting for moisture, they were reading a signal. Now, a research published in the Nature journal shows for the first time that seeds can respond to the sound of rainfall and speed up germination. In controlled tests, thousands of rice seeds exposed to raindrop sound sprouted 30 to 40% faster than seeds kept in silence. The seeds do not hear like humans. There are no ears, no nerves, no brain. Instead, they detect vibration. When raindrops strike water or soil, sound waves travel through the ground. Those pulses shake microscopic gravity-sensing particles inside the seeds called statoliths. That movement appears to trigger growth systems and tell the seed conditions are right. It means a seed can sense the arrival of rain before roots even emerge. A head start can decide survival. This idea may sound modern, but more than a century ago, Indian scientist Jagadish Chandra Bose stunned the world by demonstrating that plants react to stimuli. Using delicate instruments, he showed plants respond to touch, shock, and environment. Later experiments added more intrigue. Several studies reported that certain plants exposed to classical music or gentle vibrations showed faster growth compared with harsh noise or silence. The debate continues, but the pattern is clear. Plants are far more responsive than once believed. So the next time rain taps on a roof, remember this. Fields may be hearing a command. Underground, millions of seeds could be receiving nature's oldest wake-up call. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
The battle for the future, it seems, is no longer taking place in factories or coding labs. It's now taking place at a table tennis court. A machine with no nerves, no pulse, is returning shots at blistering speed. And for the first time, elite human players are losing.
For decades, machines conquered worlds made of data. They beat humans at chess. They solved patterns on screens. But the real world was different. That was the frontier. Now in Tokyo, that frontier has been hit back across the net. Sony AI has built an autonomous robot named Ace, and it has done what many believed was years away. It has competed against elite table tennis players under official rules and defeated some of them.
The robot can really do that by learning to play table tennis from scratch. So there's no way to program a robot by hand to play table tennis. You have to learn how to play from experience.
In trials, the robot beat 3 out of 5 elite amateur players and even won games against professionals. Human opponents said one challenge was psychological. Machines do not panic, they do not tire, they do not show emotion. Not just indoor sports, but the machines are challenging track and field athletes too. At the 2026 Beijing E-Town Half Marathon, machines lined up alongside human runners in a first-of-its-kind challenge. Some robots stumbled, some slowed, yet others completed the course, proving that balance, mobility, and stamina are advancing fast.
In the first 5 kilometers, 5 to 6 robots ran past me. The robot in the red outfit had very heavy footsteps, and it was running incredibly fast. Its speed was much higher than mine.
Experts say these breakthroughs could reshape factories, warehouses, elder care, disaster response, and military logistics. A robot that can rally at speed or run for kilometers may one day carry supplies through dangerous zones or assist humans where fatigue becomes costly. Yesterday, robots needed commands. Today, they compete. Tomorrow, they may collaborate. And somewhere between a ping-pong table and a half marathon, the future just changed pace.
Books are your windows into a whole new world. They familiarize us with new cultures, guide us about how we should see the world with fresh eyes, among many other aspects. And to celebrate the magic of books, UNESCO marking the 23rd of April every year as World Book Day. Now, what's the significance behind this, you ask? The date was chosen because it is the death anniversary of William Shakespeare, as well as Spanish writer Insa de la Vega, both of whom left a lasting legacy in the world of literature. UNESCO first marked the World Book Day way back in 1995 to promote literacy, encourage reading habits among young people, and also support the publishing industry. In a world that is increasingly driven by digital content now, this day reminds us about the enduring power of books as a source of learning, imagination, and a lot more. It also emphasizes the role of authors, publishers, educators, libraries in making knowledge accessible to everyone. While the celebrations vary across different parts, of course, they include book fairs, storytelling sessions, author interactions, literacy workshops. Some schools also organize special events where students dress up as their favorite literary characters. Even as screens dominate daily life in today's fast-paced digital era, this day is a much-needed reminder to slow down, flip through the pages of the book in your hand, read, engage with ideas that broaden your perspectives. Earlier on the show, we've told you about singles ditching dating apps in different parts and letting their friends pitch them as dating material through PowerPoint presentations in several pub events. What if singles get paid for using dating apps? Will that work? Well, this is happening for real in Japan. A Japanese prefecture is reportedly paying singles to use dating apps. But why? Basically, in a bid to tackle the record low birth rates in Japan. The country has one of the world's most serious demographic issues. Last year itself, Japan registered a little over 700,000 births, the lowest since record-taking began in 1899. Kochi Prefecture announced on the 10th of April that it would be subsidizing private matchmaking app fees for its young residents. According to a Sankei News report, residents aged between 20 and 39 will get a subsidy of up to 20,000 yen. That's basically $125 for the 2026 financial year to use applications that have received internet-based marriage partner introduction service certification. Basically, the users will reportedly be surveyed when the year is up to track the effectiveness of the program and also help with the future usage. Last year, Miyazaki Prefecture gave out dating app subsidies of up to 10,000 yen per person. A 2024 survey by Japan's Children and Families Agency found that 1 in 4 married individuals under the age of 39 reported meeting their spouse via dating apps. And this is among a string of initiatives to try and combat the declining birth rates there. Attempts also reportedly include trying to increase young people's incomes and help them balance work and childcare. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas Tonight. This is me, Molly Kampir, signing off. Thanks for watching.
Get the latest updates.
Destroy their
Breaking
missiles
news.
and raise their...
Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is one.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you